sing. Not a care, this teenage queen. Not a care, this teenage queen. Other boys could offer more, but she loved the boy next door who worked at the candy store. Dream on, teenage queen. You should be a movie queen. He would marry.
Mom and Dad, on behalf of your 3 children, your daughter-in-laws, your grandchildren, family and friends, happy 50th anniversary.
Congratulations and celebrations when I tell everyone that you're in love with me. Congratulations and jubilations. I want the world to know I'm happy as can be. Who would believe that I could be happy and contented? I used to think that happiness hadn't been invented, but that was in the bad old days before I met you. When I let you walk into my heart. Congratulations and celebrations when I tell everyone that you're in love with me. Congratulations and jubilations. I want the world to know I'm happy as can be. I was afraid that maybe you thought you were above me, that I was only fooling myself to think you'd love me. But then tonight you said you couldn't live without me. Then round about me you wanted to stay. Congratulations and celebrations when I tell everyone that you're in love with me. Congratulations and jubilations. I want the world to know I'm happy as can be.
Guess there's no use in hanging around. Guess I'll get dressed and do the town. I'll find some crowded avenue, though it will be empty without you. Can't get used to losing you no matter what I try to do. Gonna live my whole life through loving you. Call up some girl I used to know. After I heard her say hello, I couldn't think of anything to say. Since you're gone, it happens every day. Can't get used to losing you no matter what I try to do. Gonna live my whole life through loving you. I'll find somebody, wait and see. Who am I kidding? Only me. 'Cause no one else could take your place. Guess that I am just a hopeless case. Can't get used to losing you no matter what I try to do. Gonna live my whole life through loving you. I can't get used to losing you no matter what I try to do. Gonna live my whole life through loving you.
should go on forever.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to make some special introductions here. First family I'd like to introduce is the first son of Douglas and Phyllis. The oldest son, Scott, his wife Michaeline, Stephanie, and DJ. Let's give them a big hand. Next up is son number 2 for Douglas and Phyllis, Dave, his wife Sue, and children Adam, Holly, and Andrew. Next up is your DJ, son number 3, DJ Ross the Boss, or Ross. Thanks, Chuck. At this point, we'd like everyone to please stand. Let's give a big welcome, 50 years together, Doug and Phyllis Pallay. At this point, I'm going to turn the microphone over to my brother Scott, who's got a little speech for you.
Good evening, and welcome, friends and family of Douglas and Phyllis Pallay and their children. On behalf of my brothers, Dave and Ross, my wife, Michaeline, my sister-in-law, Sue, the 5 Pallay grandchildren, Adam, Holly, Drew, Stephanie, and Douglas Pallay II. We all welcome you and thank you for coming here tonight to celebrate my parents' anniversary. Now, I said brothers, Dave and Ross. Critic. My parents taught us so much. One of the things is it's so wonderful in this life to have great friends, like all of you here tonight with us. But the number one thing that they taught us always was family is the most important thing. So I would not be a true son of Douglas and Phyllis Pallay if I didn't make brief mention now of 5 people who unfortunately can't be here tonight. But believe me, they're in our hearts and our memories of our family. We're talking about the 4 founders of our family, my Grandma and Grandpa Johnson and my Grandma and Grandpa Pallay, and my dad's brother, who left us far too soon. And boy, would he have loved to have been in a party like this with all of you, my Uncle Al. So, before we toast this old married couple, I'd like to do a couple quick toasts. First, if we could raise our glasses to my Grandma and Grandpa Johnson. Now, we're going to pretend this is a vodka martini. And I warn you, my grandpa liked strong vodka martinis. So as my Swedish relatives would say skål, could we all say skål to Grandma and Grandpa Johnson? Skål. Then in honor of my Grandma and Grandpa Pallay and my Uncle Al, here you've got a choice when you lift your glasses. It can be coffee with a couple of shots of whiskey in it that my grandpa used to like, or in honor of Grandma or Uncle Al, maybe some homemade Italian wine. So in honor of my Italian relatives, we lift our glasses and say salute to my Grandma and Grandpa and Uncle Al. Salute. Okay, now for these guys, okay? When I was thinking about this speech, I was thinking 50 years ago, newlyweds, they actually had it pretty good. Yeah, my dad was still in college, but he had a good scholarship for University of Utah, room, board, tuition. My mom got a good job at the railroad. So the future looked pretty rosy and bright, except unless something unexpected and unplanned for occurred. You're looking at the unexpected, unplanned for event. Knowing my mom is organized and detailed, whatever, I can't believe it, but Dad, I guess the old Pallay charm worked one night, huh? I'm not going to regret it, that's for sure. So, they had to struggle a bit. My mom had to quit work and raise little Scott. Now, I know I was a wonderful child, but it couldn't have been easy then. But they got through it. My dad graduated college, and then he went on, did his various stints throughout the country in the Air Force, taking me and my brother Dave around. But eventually he got out and came back to the south suburbs, started his great insurance career, and my mom and dad just raised just such a wonderful family. Through the years, I've often heard, especially my mom, talking to her friends, her great friends, boy, are we lucky. Our kids turned out great. Their friends were also wonderful. We loved all of my kids' friends. We're the luckiest people in the world. Well, I don't think Dave, Ross, and I should take much credit for that. Because with role models like this, if we didn't turn out great, we would have been the biggest jerks in the world. So no matter, since we were kids, through adults, whatever, when we needed guidance, love, support, it could be 3 in the morning, it could be whenever, Mom and Dad were always there. And Mom and Dad, we thank you very, very much, all 3 of us, for that. Thank you. So in closing, I'd like to do a toast to my mom and dad for their 50th anniversary. Mom and Dad, congratulations on a wonderful 50 years. It's been filled with love, joy, and happiness, and thanks to my D's in French, a few tears. Ross, Dave, and I are very proud to be your sons. We are so very, very glad. Other peoples have mothers and fathers. We had a great mom and a super dad. Yeah. Happy anniversary.
At this point, I'd like to ask my brother Dave to go up to the head table and grab the microphone at the head table.
Do I have my props? Okay. While I'm waiting for my props, many of you who are close to my family and my brother mentioned my grandma and grandpa. You know that. Also got to tell you, this is not on the trivia quiz, but the emotional son is me. Okay, so if I lose it a little bit here, I had the privilege to speak at my grandparents' funeral, and which was a great privilege. But I decided that I wanted to say something to both of you where you can hear it before you go. So I got just a few minutes. But seriously, folks, I'm here all week, okay? Mom, I think I wrote this in a Mother's Day email a little while ago, and I couldn't think of anything better to say than this, is that, one of the things that your friends who have known you for a while know is you were a cheerleader in high school. And I think that best says what both Ross and Scott could say, is that you were our biggest cheerleader. I ran track when I was in high school, and there's a couple of my friends here who ran track. And when you run track, it's very intense, and you really don't hear much when you're running, except the guy that's next to you. Unless you go to the last turn of Thornwood High School track, and then all of a sudden you would hear, "Go Thornwood!" And the guys would say, "Dave, your mom's here again." And you say, "Yeah, my mom's here." And Mom, you always were there, not just at our games, but for critical points in our lives. And you always were cheering us on. And I really just love you for that. Thank you very much. And Dad, You always taught us to be independent thinkers, and I think you take great pride in that. And one of the ways that I've chosen in my life was a life of faith, and you've always encouraged me in that. And we've had our discussions about it, but I want to let you know something, is that I've always known, and my brothers have known, that if hell itself wanted to come against me or my family, they'd have to go through you first. And God help anyone who'd want to do that. So thank you for being our cheerleader. Thank you for being our strength. Because of those two cornerstones, we are able to stand on your shoulders and build a life of our own. So thank you very much. And we got some outsiders that wrote a few things that we have plaques here for. We have one here from Peter Fitzgerald. He's on his way out. He had some extra time, so I guess he wrote it. So, dear Mr. and Mrs. Pallay, I understand you are celebrating your 50th wedding anniversary. Congratulations on this special occasion. I am proud to join your family and friends in honoring you and the institution of marriage, and I hope that the coming year will bring you much happiness and very good health. And this is from United States Senator Peter Fitzgerald. And this one comes from the mayor of South Holland, Don DeGraff. Dear Doug and Phyllis, as the mayor of South Holland, I am pleased and proud to offer my sincere congratulations as you celebrate 50 joyous years of marriage. Your commitment to family is evident by the tremendous success of your sons, Scott, Dave, and Ross. You have dedicated yourselves to teaching them strong and ethical values while blessing them with your love and support. You represent the true meaning of family in the village of South Holland. You have also been conscientious residents of our great village. You have given back to the community for over 35 years by devoting your time, energy, and enthusiasm to South Holland Little League, Babe Ruth, Business Association, School District 150, and most recently, the South Holland Today. You have continually represented the principles we cherish most in South Holland. We want you to know that the village of South Holland has appreciated your longevity and commitment to this community, and we wish you the best as you begin the next 50 years of marriage. Sincerely, Don A. DeGraff, Mayor, Village of South Holland.
I'm son number 3, and I never could follow my older brothers. Scott with sports, or Dave with National Honor Society, or whatever, but I guess I'm the kooky creative one who, thanks to a lot of friends, was able to put together this party for you along with a lot of help. And specifically, what I want to point out is the people who helped us throw this party. Right away, my Aunt Gail, Phyllis' sister, if you checked out those invitations, she's the one who put those together, took care of the RSVP, so let's have a big hand for Aunt Gail. And right now, Mom's finally seeing what the invitation looked like. Recognize that photo? Another special thank you I'd like to give out is specifically to the people who own this place where I'm lucky enough to work for a great second job. And it's not just the people who are my bosses. They're not just good friends. They're one of my best friends. And unfortunately, both of them couldn't be here, but one of them is Chuck Jabay, one of the owners of this great facility. Chuck, thank you so much. His wife, Eva's over there. And you may ask, CD and me. No, Chuck didn't pick that name. His partner did. But the C in CD and me is for Chuck. The E is for Eva. The other partner and my good friend Dean could not be here, and his wife, his name is Marnie. That's where they came up with CD and me. So thank you again to the owners and also to the fine staff I'm lucky enough to work with here. Kelly, our heart bartender. Dave. The other Kelly and Alex, it's the best crew ever to work with. So thank you to all them guys over there for helping me out. We really appreciate it. Now, I know you're all starving, but my dad's never a loss for words, I hope, at least at this point. So I'd like to ask at least my dad, and maybe my mom can come up with a few words, just to say a few things for us all.
As unaccustomed as I am to speaking, Ross told me not to have anything to eat for lunch because we were going to have a lot of food. When he called me and told me his car was broken down, I was wondering whether having him was a good idea because I was starving to death when I walked through the store. Ross and my sons, Dave and Scott, covered a lot about our family, and family always has been important to us. My family, Phyllis's family, and the family we raised together. But just as important, our friends. And in life, what I found is if you have good family and good friends, nothing else is needed. And we want to thank you all very much. My wife is unaccustomed to speaking, but
I want to make sure that comes out in the DVD. This lady in the crowd said you never let her speak.
have you ever seen a flapjaw Swede? None of them talk a lot. But I've been fortunate in 50 years, and I was starting to tell a story about my wife, and I will tell one story. When we decided to get married 50 years ago, a man had to be 21 years old to get married without permission. I was 20. So I went to my mother and father and said, Phyllis and I would like to get married. Now, many of you know my mother, some of you don't. She was very Italian. And she said, Doug, no. And let me tell you why. We all like Phyllis. She's a lovely girl. But you don't understand. You're both 20 years old, and she looks fine now. But when you get to be 50, because we all know women age faster than men, you will look terrific. Your wife will gain 80 pounds, and you'll be sorry you did this. Now, my father, who never said much, being the Hungarian in the family, however, overruled everything and said, Jen, shut up, to my mother. So now I have my bride here, who has not gained a pound since we got married 50 years. I have gained approximately 80. Why she kept me around, I'll never know. But it was probably the best investment I ever made. I'm glad my dad, for the second time in his life, overruled my mother. And we ended up with the marvelous friends and family we have here tonight. Thank you.
If I stay up here very much longer, tears are going to come. But all I want to do is thank so many people for coming from all walks of our life. We've got tennis folks here. We've got South Holland, Village of South Holland folks here. We've got family. We've got friends of children here. Just everybody. And it was just marvelous. I can't thank you enough. We've got friends here that came in specifically from Arizona and Missouri and Michigan, and it's overwhelming. And I do thank you so very much for coming and sharing this day with us. Thank you.
And now we can eat.
As my dad just said, he's starving, and since he was almost mad at me for delaying this, Dad's table can go first. The buffet is ready up at the front near the big screen TV. So if we can kind of go one table at a time, when the line gets short, some table close by can come on and get up. Enjoy yourselves. We have great food for you. It's the best pork chops you ever had in your life. We also have chicken. We have hot dogs, all courtesy of Chef's Table from Calumet City. Enjoy, everybody.
It's me a longing. Oh, I tell you I mean it. I'm all for you, body and soul. I can't believe it. It's
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to direct your attention toward the cake table, and I'd like to ask my parents, Douglas and Phyllis, to go up to the cake table. And Phyllis's sister, my Aunt Gail, has a little story regarding that cake, regarding their wedding day she'd like to tell.
Is this on? This is on. Well, before I tell you the story, I must say to you, I was probably the happiest person in the room when they decided to get married, because 17 years, I shared a bedroom with the Queen of Neat, and I was going to get my own bedroom. Wedding day came, reception came at the Pullman Club. We all had dinner, and we went to the cake to cut it, and all of a sudden, Phyllis comes roaring across the room to me. Give me your headpiece. They had forgotten, the bride and groom took my headpiece and put it on the cake, so it would have something. So there was I with a bare head, no headpiece. And I can attest to this because when Holly did the quilt, there's a picture of us, and I have the headpiece on, but it didn't last long. So because they didn't have...
We're going to fix that problem right now. 50 years later, we have a beautiful bride and groom that we're going to put on top of the cake, so Mom, you can't freak out this time. Now I'd like to get the bride and groom to cut the first piece of cake.
Knife, please.
If we can get a staff member to get him a knife, please. We're getting you a knife. Hold on a sec.
Sugar, oh honey, honey, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you, honey, oh sugar, sugar. Of loving you, I just can't believe it's true. I just can't believe the wonder of this feeling too. I just can't believe it's true. Ah, sugar. Oh, honey, honey, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you. Oh, honey.
It looks like my nephew got the first piece, or at least the headpiece from the cake.
When I kissed you, girl, I knew how sweet a kiss could be. I know how sweet a kiss can be. Like the summer sunshine, pour your sweetness over me. Loved by you. How sweet it is to be loved by you. I needed the shelter of someone's arms. There you were. I needed someone to understand.
For those of you who are hungry, the dessert table is now open. We also have both regular and decaf coffee for you. Help yourselves.
Sweet love and devotion, deeply touching my emotion. I want to stop. Thank you, baby. I want to stop. And thank you, baby. Yes, I do. How sweet it is to be loved by you. Feels so fine. How sweet it is to be loved by you. just like sugar sometimes. How sweet it is to be loved by you. Whoa, yeah. You were better to me than I was to myself. For me, there's you, and there ain't nobody else. I wanna stop. Thank you, baby. I just
Sometimes I stare in space, tears all over my face. I can't explain it, don't understand it. I ain't never felt like
All right, now it's time to give away those lovely centerpieces from each table. So get your answers out from the trivia. Remember, whoever has the most correct answers from each table, you win the centerpiece. We're going to start with question 1, and I may have to defer to Mom and Dad for the correct answer on this one. Mom and Dad, if you could listen up for this. Question 1 was, in which state have Doug and Phyllis not resided? The answers on the questionnaire were California, South Dakota, Indiana, Texas, and Utah. Is there one of those 5 states you never lived in? Indiana is the answer, correct. Number 2, what state college did Phyllis attend for 1 year after high school? The good old Leathernecks of Western Illinois is the answer. Of course, my friends over here went to Western, so give them some credit here. Question 3, what sport did Doug receive an athletic scholarship to attend college? Now, for those you may or may not know, he actually played 2 sports in college at University of Utah. It was football and baseball. But which one did he get a scholarship for, Dad? Football is the answer. He was a walk-on in baseball. Here's the trick question. What was the maiden name of Phyllis's mother-in-law? That would be my dad's mother's maiden name, which is Giacconi, is the answer. Here's one near and dear to my heart. Which of Doug and Phyllis's sons is not left-handed? Well, I am left-handed. Scott is left-handed, which leaves my brother Dave is the correct answer. For some reason, Dave has the best handwriting. I don't know if it has anything to do with being lefty or righty. Question 6, did Doug or Phyllis need their parents' legal permission to get married? Dad, you were kind of mentioning that during your speech. Was it your parents, Dad, that you... Doug had to get legal permission to get married, so the answer is Doug. Question 7, what city did Doug and Phyllis buy their first home in after they returned from the Air Force? And that actually is the city where I was born in. The answer is Calumet City, Illinois. Question 8. Which grandchild was named after one of the happy couple? That would be my youngest nephew, Scott and Michaeline's youngest, DJ Douglas Joseph. Question 9. Which one, Doug or Phyllis, was a member of Fanger High School's National Honor Society? Whoa, Dad. I never saw your report cards. Both? Well, the answer I have here is Phyllis was the correct answer, but are we saying the both were National Honor Society? We need documentation, so we're going to go with Phyllis. Question 10, the last question. What is the real date of Douglas and Phyllis's anniversary? And it's not today. That's how we fooled them. The correct answer is August 14th. So add up your correct answers. Whoever has the most correct ones per table, you have a lovely centerpiece to take home with you. Stick around. We got some dancing coming up real shortly. At this point, we'd like to direct everyone's attention to the dance floor. I'd like to invite Phyllis and Doug to come out right here by the DJ booth. Now, Mom, you may recall, and Dad, I've been trying to bug you to figure out what was your first dance at your wedding. You know what they told me? They could not remember. Neither can my sister-in-law. So I'm hoping I picked something appropriate for you that would have worked well back in 1954. Here we go.
Someday, when I'm awfully low, when the world is cold, I will feel a glow just thinking of you and the way you look tonight. Yes, you're lovely with your smile so warm and your cheeks so soft. There is nothing for me but to love you and the way you look tonight. With each word, your tender.
This is a solo dance, Mom and Dad. I'm in charge.
Tearing my fear apart, and that laugh wrinkles your nose, touches my foolish heart. Lovely, never, never change. Keep that breathless charm. Won't you please arrange it? 'Cause I love you just the way you look tonight. Touches my foolish heart. Lovely, don't you ever change. Keep that breathless charm. Won't you please arrange it? 'Cause I love you just the way you look tonight. Just the way you look tonight.
Can we have a big hand for the bride and groom from 1954? We'd like them to stay out there, and at this point I'd like my brothers and their wives, and I'd like to invite my Aunt Gail to join me out there for a dance just with the children and the parents.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I ever knew. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Okay, we're opening up to the entire crowd now. We got 50s, we got 40s, we got 60s. Come on out, have a great time. You know me, I'm related to you, so I love requests. I'll play it, I promise.
We are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. We are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. Everyone can see we're together as we walk on by, and we fly just like birds of a feather. I won't tell no lie. All of the people around us, they say, can they be that close? Just let me state for the record, we're giving love in a family dose. We are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. Sing it to me. We are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. Living life is fun, and we've just begun to get our share of this world's delight. High hopes we have for the future and our goals in sight. We know we don't get depressed. Here's what we call our golden rule. Have faith in you and the things you do. You won't go wrong. Oh no, this is our family jewel. We are family. Sing it to me. I got all my sisters with me. Sing it to me. We are family. I can hear you, y'all. Get up, everybody, and sing. We have faith in you and the things you do. Hey, I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, y'all. Get up, everybody, and sing. We are family. I got my sisters with me. I got all my sisters with everybody.
Oh, what a night. Late December back in '63.
Pick guitars and drive them old trucks. Let 'em be doctors and lawyers and such. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. 'Cause they never stay home and they're always alone, even with someone they love.
Cowboys like smoky old pool rooms and clear mountain mornings.
Little warm puppies and children and girls of the night. Them that don't know him won't like him, and them that do sometimes won't know how to take it.
He ain't wrong, he's just different, but his pride won't let him do things to make you think he's right.
Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. Don't let 'em pick guitars and drive them old trucks. Let 'em be doctors and lawyers and such. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. 'Cause they never stay home and they're always alone, even with someone they love. Mamas, don't let your babies.
Here's another favorite one of Dad's.
Widow south side of Chicago.
Sweet man.
Do I what? Will I what? Oh, baby, you know what I like. Chantilly lace and a pretty face and a ponytail hanging down, a wiggle in the walk and a giggle in the talk. Make the world go round. There ain't nothing in the world like a big-eyed girl to make me act so funny, make me spend my money, make me feel real loose like a long-necked goose, like a girl. Oh, baby, that's what I like. What's that, baby? But, oh, honey. But, oh, baby, you know what I like. Chantilly lace had a pretty face, had a ponytail hanging down, a wiggle in the walk and a giggle in the talk. Lord, make the world go round, round, round. There ain't nothing in the world like a big-eyed girl to make me act so funny, make me spend my money, make me feel real loose like a long-necked goose, like a girl. Oh, baby, that's what I like. What's that, honey? Pick you up at 8, and don't be late. But, baby, I ain't got no money, honey. Oh, all right, honey, you know what I like. Chantilly lace and a pretty face, ponytail hanging down, a wiggle in the walk and a giggle in the talk. Lord, make the world go round. There ain't nothing in the world like a big-eyed girl to make me act so funny, make me spend my money, make me feel real loose like a long-necked goose, like a girl. Oh, baby, that's what I like.
Sorry now. Who's sorry now? Whose heart is aching for breaking each vow? Who's sad and blue? Who's crying too? Just like I cried over you, right to the end, just like a friend. I tried to warn you somehow. You had your way. Now you must pay. I'm glad that you're sorry now. Right to the end, just like a friend. I tried to warn you somehow. You had your way. Now you must pay. I'm glad that you're sorry now.
Oh, yes, I'm the great pretender. Pretending that I'm doing well. My need is such, I pretend too much. I'm lonely, but no one can tell. adrift in a world of my own. I play the game, but to my real shame, you've left me to dream all alone. Too real is this feeling of make-believe. Too real when I feel what my heart can't conceal. Oh, yes, I'm the great pretender, just laughing and gay like a clown. I seem to be what I'm not, you see. I'm wearing my heart like a crown, pretending that you're still around. Too real is this feeling of make-believe. Too real when I feel what my heart can't conceal. Yes, I'm the great pretender, just laughing and gay like a clown. I seem to be what I'm not, you see. I'm wearing my heart like a crown, pretending that you're still around. Happy birthday, baby. Oh, I love you so. 16 candles make a lovely light, but not as bright as your eyes tonight. Blow out the candles, make your wish come true. For I'll be wishing that you love me too.
Why do birds sing so gay and lovers away?
On behalf of my brothers Scott and Dave, myself, Ross, thank you all for coming out tonight, and I'm sure my parents both appreciate too. Happy anniversary to them. Good night, everybody.
Turn out the lights, the party's over. They say that all good things must end. Let's call it a night. The party's over, and tomorrow start the same old thing again. What a crazy, crazy party. Never seen so many people laughing, dancing. Look at you, you're having fun. But look at me, I'm almost crying. But that don't keep her love from dying. Misery calls for me, the party's over. Turn out the lights, the party's over. They say that all good things must end. Let's call it a night. The party's over, and tomorrow start the same old thing again. Once I had a love undying, I didn't keep it, wasn't trying. Life for me was just one party and then another